What is up, everybody? And I'm back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you, yes you, how to start your own vending machine business. So let's jump right into it, shall we? When I first started doing a vending business, I didn't think that I would actually be doing a vending business. But now that I actually found something I like, I'm rocking and I'm rolling with it. So I'm going to teach you how to do it too. You decide today is your day. You want to start a vending machine business. You saved up money. You've done this, you've read that. There are a lot of people out there with courses on how to start a vending machine business. Now, if you ask me, you do not need those courses.
Don't need.
Majority of people that are where they are self-taught. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to buy into a course, that's on you. But you came to this channel and I'm going to tell you how to do it without one. So step number one, when you're buying your first machine, do not try to buy your first machine on credit. Especially a lot of people when they buy their first machine, they want the heavy hitter, they want the big bang, they want something that's never going to fall apart. And if it does fall apart or something does break down, it's not going to happen for like another 8 years or when I'm ready to sell. You don't have to do that, especially when you're just getting started. You saved you some money, okay? You cannot get into this free. If you do it on credit, you're doing that at your own risk. So do that how you will. I'm going to use realistic numbers that I did for myself. I'm not going to give you just some bogus random number because odds are today a lot of people wouldn't be able to save up $1,000. They have other things to pay. They have other things to take care of. So I'm going to give you the number I started with, and it's more realistic. When I bought my first vending machine, I knew nothing about repairs. I knew nothing about making corrections, anything like that. I taught myself. So here I am looking for a vending machine. I saved up $500. I didn't know how much I was gonna spend on my first machine, but I knew I wasn't gonna spend like $1,500 for one machine. I was not gonna do that. So I'm gonna tell you the do's and don'ts of the things that I did and the things that'll probably prevent you from making the same mistake. Next, so I'm looking for machines. I know I want a good machine. I want a machine that's running. It doesn't have to be brand spanking new. And I do recommend that for your first machine, you get an older machine, not like 1980, 1990 old. You get a machine that's older, not brand new, so no one will try to hustle you. Because you don't know, you're just getting your feet wet. And I'm surfing the net, I'm looking for a machine, and I come across a guy who owns a laundromat. He's selling his vending machine. He's just bought another one. Nothing is wrong with this older one, but he's just trying to sell it because he has another one to replace it with. Now, me and my husband, we got in a truck, we drove out to go get it. Now, that's another factor in mind when you're first getting started. How are you going to move? This is what I wish someone would have told me before I got started. I was learning as I was going, and that's the best recipe for like success. And you have to fail a few times in order to succeed. So, like I said, I had $500 saved up. This guy wanted $280. Now, my negotiation skills aren't all that. I talked the man down to $250. Now, that's not bad. That's great. I just made my first negotiation. Now I have to drive maybe an hour. I believe it was like an hour and 15 minutes to go get it. Unless you have like a team full of friends, I don't. I had to round up people to help me with this machine. Now, I'm there for moral support. I'm not lifting a thing. I had to rent a truck, which is about another 100. You drive probably about 70, 80 miles, maybe more, depends on your case. And they charge, let's just say, $1 per mile. You're already at $180. And then when you return the truck wherever you rent it from, let's just say you're putting in like another $20 for gas. So where are you at? $200 already. I'm using realistic numbers that most people can afford. This is where I started, and these are the numbers I'm sharing. You got to have people to help you move it. You got to have a truck to get it there. Now, if you're one of those people that already drive trucks, you drive a big pickup truck, that's great, and you're ready to go. You can just pick it up, a trailer, not a ramp, but a trailer. You can probably find a lot of great companies that'll rent you out a trailer for a great price. But I've called around many times. A lot of places are like 80, 90 bucks. If you want to throw some insurance on there, it's probably like another $15, $14. To me, I don't want to go down that ramp because the trailer can get damaged very easily. Anything can happen. I didn't feel like going through that. So I'm being realistic. You got your people And not to mention, some people want to get paid for them helping you move. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to factor that in. You got your machine, your mover, your truck. You head to your location, the most affordable truck that I could. But then when I get there, the truck wouldn't have a ramp. This wasn't every situation, but this was my first situation. The truck doesn't have a ramp. So we have to figure out some way to tip it without anyone hurting themselves and then without damaging the machine. I can't tell you how many times I've placed a vending machine and now because of the way that it was loaded and how it traveled in the truck, it's all scratched up on the side. As long as it still works, that's great. Now you have to drive all the way back to wherever you came from. Before you get your first machine or any machine, it could be number 15, 36, whatever. When you get your machine, make sure you have the location first. I cannot stress that enough because, when you're getting your first location or when you have your first machine, you're trying to find a location. So the machine is going to be sitting somewhere, whether it's in your garage or you pay for a storage unit, wherever you chose to put it, you're going to have to pay. You're losing money or you're not making money because it's sitting collecting dust. I got my machine before I got my first location. So when I finally did get my first location, my machine probably sat 3.5, maybe 4 weeks before I actually got it placed. I have to waste more money because now I have to get a rental truck again, and now I have to get the machine over to the new location. So now my whole process had to be repeated. I had to find movers. I had to get another truck. I had to make sure it was cool with the owner of the business, that I was able to bring the machine by today. Now I finally have my machine on location. So now I didn't even buy the supplies for the machine. Go to the store, I pick everything up, and everything total come out spending like a whopping $175. Now prices have probably changed since then. A lot of the options, I was doing repeat options, like I have one bag here, the same bag there, a different bag there, but the same bag there. It actually turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good. And I'm thankful for it. And that machine is actually still on location and it's still doing very well. Usually with 2 weeks or so, you're usually going to refill your locations. I have one location where I have to go and refill every week. And it kind of can get exhausting. It kind of can play on your time, but you do what you have to do. If this is what you wanted, this is what you built. That was basically a walkthrough of how starting your vending business goes. Let's talk about the hard stuff. A lot of people start with machines such as this. Bulk candy machines get you some candies like some M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, Skittles, Runts, whatever your machine provides. That's okay. A lot of people, they don't even go into getting an LLC until they probably are like 20 machines in because they're learning, they're going. They don't check up on these machines for every 30 days. Some people, if it's a hot location, you might have to be there more than that. You might have to be there probably every 2 weeks, maybe. It doesn't always happen with bulk candy machines, but sometimes you can get a location that's really insane and you have to be there all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But realistically, bulk candy machines it's usually like on a 3-month basis. I don't have to check up on it every 30 days. I can probably do like every 45. But then you have your much bigger machines. These here, you can just put in your car and keep going. Clean them up. And guys, make sure you clean these things out. I can't, like, the stink bugs live in here. They can find it from anywhere, a garage, a storage unit, anything. I can't tell you how many times I've bought a candy machine and I'm trying to clean it out and a bug jumps out. And it freaks me out. What woman likes bugs? None of us do. And they get me every single time. It scares me half to death. You don't have to get an LLC right away. I do recommend that you get one. Whatever your state credentials is, you follow that state criteria. You need to, get your articles of organization, get your LLC. Some states do require a permit, and some require a permit on a different level. But you might need a permit in your state to sell things like sandwiches and subs and soups in your vending machine. Now, depending on where you live, your LLC might cost somewhere a little over $100. It may be like 100 to 150. If you pay for expedited service, it might take it up to that. It may be a little bit more. I know a person who has 135 bulk machines. I didn't think it was possible, but somebody out there is well ahead of the game. But when they first started, they did not have LLC, and I think they waited till about the 10th or 15th machine, and that's their decision. Not everybody takes that road. The hardest part about doing the whole vending thing is finding a location. Gosh, that is the hardest part about this whole thing. I didn't get my first location, but I got it by word of mouth. Now, a lot of people say that they do cold calling. That's cool. If you're good, if you have that voice, if you have that salesperson, that pitch, that marketing aspect in you, by all means, do it. It's a no for me. A lot of people can call 20 places, but then on that, they get all no's 1 through 19. But then on their 20th, they get that final yes, and they feel good about it. I'm that person. By call 5, I'm like, okay, maybe this wasn't it. And then I got discouraged. So at that point, I stopped cold calling. It wasn't for me. And I never cold called again. You guys will probably know somebody. You know somebody that owns a hair salon, a barber shop, a laundromat. That's good. If you know them and they don't have a vending machine in there, talk to them about it. See if you can get your vending machine up in there. That's great. If you can get a location that has 3 machines in one, that is fantastic. You can get a snack, soda, and a candy machine at the front desk or at the waiting area. That's great. You're winning all the way around. Whether it's 2 or it's 3, it's a win. If you don't know anybody that owns like physical businesses, then try to get your machine out there through word of mouth. Because one person may know another person that knows another person that does. And that's a big plus for you because it'll come back around to you. Another route you can take to find locations for your business is vending locators. Vending locators, they're a bit on the pricey side, so I wouldn't really recommend it, but I'm just telling you of the different avenues that are out there. If you don't cold call, you could always try vending locators if you have that kind of money saved up. I did not have that kind of money to pay a vending locator. But if you saved up more than I did, you can go for it by all means if that's the type of thing that you want to do. That way you can take some of that pressure off yourself. But usually vending locators, they run anywhere between $200 to $400, breaking my budget. If I just spent $250 for a machine, I'm going to give you $400 just to find somewhere to put it for me. And then for the most part, when you find a vending locator, they're doing nothing but cold calling themselves. But when they find a place, it may not be a great location. You might only be making like 2-3 sales a week. So guess what? You're making 2-3 sales a week, and then that only leads to a bunch of wasted products in the end. You have the option of cold calling, vending locators, finally, which is my favorite, social media. If you want a video on how I find locations, I have found one location on social media that is the location that actually sells out every week. And I never would have thought it would have worked in a location like that, but you truly never know. That's three ways to find your vending machine location. And to me, that is the hardest part. If you ask somebody else, it may be different. The repairs may be the hardest part, and that is horrible as well. So I just gave you 3 ways to find your first or your next location. If you're stumped and having trouble with it, there's cold calling. You can do it yourself. There is vending locators. If you have the money, social media. Now, between cold calling and social media, I would probably take the avenue of social media. And then there's products. So with products, when I first started, you never know what really is the winning product at that location. You try to guess off of the things that you think that people like when you first get started. Now, if you do some research, you'll find out things like M&M's or waters or Pepsi's or Lay's chips may be the winners here. But over here, Skittles and Sprites and Doritos are probably the head honchos over here. You know, keeping up with your receipts, make sure you're keeping up with your shopping receipts, your parts receipts. This is how I started my vending machine business. If you have any questions, make sure you comment it down below. Give this video a like, subscribe, thumbs up, because there will be more videos on how to start other businesses, and I'll elaborate. Thanks, guys.